Okay, I suggest we get started. I say, considering the small group, why don't we just all love to know what you guys do, because it's, you know, it's not really broadcast. It's almost one-to-one. I know what you do, but maybe you want to share quickly.
My name's Phil Hagger. I advise my clients on what technology solutions they should use, be it for advertising, be it for online video platforms.
It sounds like I'm like you, but about 10 years before. So I have a small content marketing company in Ireland, and I'm particularly interested in this because we like to get into social video advertising, and I see that as a major extension of what's happening with online advertising. So that's particularly interesting in this session.
I'm Soren. Soren, I'm from Denmark. My company produces property videos and has an automated workflow for voiceovers for videos as well.
I'm Liliana. I work for YouTube, and as you know, we earn money by outspending, so it's interesting for me to know what's going on.
Hi, my name is Colomgilia Plummer. I'm from totally different area. I'm coming from the telecom side, an IP network who's got quite a few customers using big pipes and want to know what they do with it.
Hi, I'm Gen Frenkel. I'm a product manager in Cultura, and this is interesting for most of our customers for the media vertical.
Hi, I'm Marcus Backstrom. I'm the CEO of Third Presence, and we're a video platform that helps content providers to stream video to different devices and smart TVs.
Hi, I'm Roman Uršić from Media Interactive from Slovenia. I work as a graphic designer for user experience.
Mirko Rehek from Slovenia, also same company. We are distributing and producing video content, so we're interested in monetizing it also.
I'm from the same company, Frank de Lins.
We're doing quick introductions.
Hello, my name is Susanne Gut from Cast Labs. Our company is offering DRM as a service, and we're currently launching all this fancy new ultraviolet stuff in the US.
Hello, I'm Dick Kaser. I'm with Information Today, the organizers in the States. So welcome to the conference. Hope you enjoy the day.
Thank you. We could almost do a big panel now, everyone involved. So yeah, good to have you all here. I have prepared to talk about a number of things. Just wanted to start by introducing Video Plaza, putting us on the map, and just quickly giving you a view of how we see the world. In July, we launched a research report together with Screen Digest with some very interesting numbers. So I'll share with you the main conclusions from that report. And on the back of that, there's a couple of strategic recommendations if you want to build, become a significant player in the new IP-delivered TV advertising space, the things you need to figure out. And finally, just giving you a quick introduction to Carbon, which is our platform that we offer. So kind of tying it all together. So I think this slide is more valid than ever. During the last 100 years, technical change has led to significant disruption in the world of moving images. So we've gone from cinema to TV, cable came with all this new content, and now with the introduction of IP or internet delivered video, all the rules are changing again. So the rules around content, the rules around distribution, around obviously the user experience, and around how we monetize TV is changing fundamentally, and YouTube is a big proof of that. So when it comes to Video Plaza, our mission is to make the new IP-delivered TV profitable for any video publisher, be it the broadcasters who also have a huge business in the broadcast world, or be it new types of video companies or TV companies that are finally given a space in this industry because of the disruptions in the market. The company was founded roughly 5 years ago. We started out in Stockholm and moved our headquarters here roughly 18 months ago. We still have product and engineering in Stockholm and have offices around Europe and Asia. Our clients are spread all over the world, in more than 20 markets. And give you just a quick view of how we see the ecosystem and also where we sit in that. So basically, putting it simple, advertisers want to sell more products. It's the business of the publisher, be it a broadcaster or any other video publisher, to build an audience and then sell that audience's attention. Either sell it directly through their own sales teams or selling it indirectly through an ad network, let's say. And when it comes to the audience it's not very straightforward these days. The audience is either on your own very controlled properties that you own and control, or you might syndicate your content on, let's say, YouTube or another third-party site where you have less control. And finally, your audience has gone from being only on the PC to now being on all these different devices, be it on pure kind of websites or HTML5 technologies, or be it in different apps. So where we come into the picture is that we are we're the trusted technology partner of the video publisher, and we empower them to maximize the value of their audience, regardless of where that audience ends up, be it on the PC or other devices, be it on your own properties or other syndicated partners that you work with. And finally, just in terms of the introduction, this is some of the brands we work with today. So we have our main target is the broadcasters. So we have roughly 20 broadcasters now. Canal Plus, M6, work with SBS, TV4, etc. In the UK, we work with Scottish TV now. We are live also on YouView, and since I think we're the first ad provider to be live there. But we also have other types of publishers, be it newspaper groups or other pure online players. And finally, different ad networks, syndicators or aggregators, which is really the new group of publishers that historically didn't have a video business, or a lot of these businesses actually didn't exist before IP-delivered video existed. So, what's going on is a question we get very often from our customers, from our partners. People turn to us and say, in a way, we are in the midst of two simultaneous revolutions. On one hand, we have the TV revolution, which is very much what I've talked about right now, going from broadcast to IP delivery, but also at the same time, there's a big ad tech revolution. I think most of you here are probably not very involved in that, but the way advertising is being traded is changing very rapidly. And I don't know if you heard terms like real-time bidding or data management platforms, etc. All very, very confusing, and people obviously, even I'm struggling to keep up with all the change that's going on. So, there's people turn to us and ask, so what should we do now? There's all these devices. There's the Samsung TVs, and then there's the Xboxes, and then there's the iPad. What should I do? What should I invest in? Where's the numbers? How can I build a business case for my management team, etc.? And on the back of that, we went to Screen Digest, or IHS, and partnered up with them and launched this research report that is available free from the website for you to download. And where we've looked really at the future of the TV landscape and combined obviously data from Screen Digest and data from our customers. So I wanted to share with you the top headlines from this research report, and you can obviously get hold of the full report from the website. So the first conclusion is broadcast TV ad spend is flat, right? So TV is not growing anymore. But before we talk about that, let's just talk about TV as an advertising medium. It is the biggest advertising medium on the planet. It's bigger than, actually not in this country anymore because online is ahead, but if you look at Europe as a whole, it's every third ad dollar goes to TV. And that is considering online, outdoor, print, everything. Every third, it's pretty powerful. And it's been the same, as you can see. Even though online has grown so much during the last 13 years, it's still the same share that it's taken. Again, it's a bit different in different markets. And it's a total market of, globally, of $200 billion. So it's a massive, massive market. However, it's flat now. It's not, if you are a broadcaster, you have to find growth elsewhere. It's very simple. So where is the growth? Obviously the growth is, one place to find growth is IP delivered video. So the market grows this year roughly 53% in Europe, 43% in the US, and so you ask yourself where that growth is actually coming from. So I'll get to that soon. First, this is just a breakdown also of the IP delivered video ad spend, where geographically this is. So this actually excludes you guys in YouTube, but you can see how UK and Germany are very dominant in terms of the amount of actual ad spend, and surprisingly also France being actually almost half of Germany and UK, and then with Spain and Italy following after. So if you think about where, we are big believers that this market will continue to grow at a very high speed. And obviously, why is that? You would wonder. This is one of the reasons, because infrastructure for IP delivered video is very much in place. And 2012 is really the year where there's almost a tipping point, you could say. So just to introduce the slide to you, there's a lot of colors. So the blue colors are the living room connected devices. So it's the connected Blu-rays, it's the connected TVs, it's the games consoles, connected set-top boxes. And you can see how that grows. And then you have the mobile IP delivered video devices, smartphones and tablets, which are these two that are growing very, very rapidly. Obviously mobile growing, being a lot bigger than the tablets, but tablets really picking up as well. And then it's about comparing those new devices to here, which is TV households and PC households. And you can see that already last year, there was more smartphones than than TV households. And you can see also how by next year there will be more connected living room devices than TV households as well. Obviously, the next question you would ask is, well, are everybody with a smartphone watching video on their phones, or are everybody with a connected Blu-ray actually watching IP delivered video on that? That's a relevant question, but we have some data on that. So when we look at our broadcaster clients, we've seen now how the amount of mobile traffic, and this is actual advertising traffic, when it comes to content, they actually have far more mobile content than they get in comparison to the ads. So you can see that from January this year till August, that's tripled from 3% to 10% of the total amount of advertising delivered. Now 10% is mobile, which is tablets and smartphones. So this is one proof, and the reason it's growing this fast is because obviously first comes first you build the app, you know, you might get your HTML5 player to work, you build some audience, etc. And when it grows big enough, or when your priorities get there, that's when you start focusing on actually monetizing it, integrating your ad platform and properly starting to include that in your proposition towards advertisers. And this is really looking into the future. This is our most proactive customer, M6, part of the RTL group, the second biggest broadcaster in France, who've always stayed ahead of the curve when it comes to innovation and, in this case, obviously building out their IP-delivered apps or different services. So they have been extremely proactive on all these different devices, and you can see where they are today. Only 1/3 of all the ads we deliver for them are today on the PC, which really puts things in perspective, I think. And you can see that the biggest thing for them is the set-top boxes, the actual IP, the hardcore ISP, IPTV platforms like Orange and Free and SFR. And obviously France is a unique market. It's the world's biggest IPTV market. But still, you can see how, you know, even smartphones and tablets are 15% of their traffic. And then you can see Sony Smart TV is another 3%, Xbox is another 2%. So this is, for me, this is proof that if you invest properly in these different devices, the consumer demand is actually there. So all those devices on the slide before, yes, if you build good services and have great content on there, it will be consumed, and in this case, it can be monetized as well. So this is, I think this is just an important point to make here. MCs have been very early on saying, you know, that the PC is just one of many devices that we use, that our audience will consume our content on. And I think that's a very important statement to make, rather than many other customers of ours or publishers out there who build everything for the PC and then well, okay, let's make it also work on the phone. Let's also make it work here, rather than from the beginning having this kind of holistic, screen agnostic approach. And that really changes, obviously, the results if you really implement that kind of a strategy and mindset to your business. So what all of that meant, in a way, is that the $200 billion ad market is up for grabs. So if you think about the market, you have today, the $200 billion ad market is mainly linear broadcast TV, right? It's bought on GRP by the broadcasters, and that's where the business gradually, it's starting to become IP delivered. And as it becomes IP delivered, the rules change. Suddenly you've got competition from YouTube, you've got competition from The Guardian, you've got competition from guys like Real Candy or Blinkbox or Netflix or you name it. So this ad spend is up for grabs, and there's a lot of companies that are extremely excited about making sure they grab a piece of this pie, which they historically had not had access to whatsoever. And this is very exciting. So just to give you, this is a visionary slide. There's, as you see, there's no timeline really. But I think we all recognize that PC is where the growth has been, starting to maybe not grow as much as it has. We're seeing now how mobile and tablets are really taking off. And we all know that in the end, it will be about the living room. It will be about the way, more or less the same way we watch television. We'll start to shift that from flipping channels to consuming it on demand and IP delivered. And that hasn't really happened yet, even though a lot of the infrastructure is in place. It's not really happening right now. And that will be when this market will absolutely explode, and when the ad money also will shift a lot faster than it has done so far. So there's two types of companies, right? There's one group who are making a lot of money in this market today. They should be nervous For them, it's IP delivered video it's exciting, it's a new type of offering for their consumers, but actually it's a question of survival in the long term, right? But then you have all the other companies who are not here, again, YouTube being one of them, who are just, very happy. And for them, it's all an opportunity. And I mean, we constantly meet, business development people or chief strategy officers or people who are tasked with, I want you to find our next, 10 or 100 million revenue business model, right? And they all come back with video. Here's an opportunity now. There's a window of opportunity. The rules of the game are changing, and we can actually play. So, what do you need to do to play this game? And this goes actually for both parties, right? Whether you're in IP delivered video or in linear broadcast or not, you need to really do two things. I want to summarize it very simple. You need to get real about this, and you need to gear up. I thought I'd give you a bit more detail. So there's really, I mean, we've summarized it down to, in order to define your IP delivered video strategy, you need to define you could summarize it in 4 different steps. So I would say just before this, what I mean with get real is that you have to respect that this is a $200 million market. And you have to get proper alignment all the way from your board, down to your CEO, to the management team, to the middle management, down to the engineers, that this is real and we're going to go for it. And if you don't have that, it will be very difficult. And we see this with some of our customers, especially some of the newspaper customers. Some of them are doing extremely well, like the Schibsted companies in the Nordics. They are sometimes bigger than the broadcasters, because 4 years ago, they had a special video/TV team. They have studios. They have special video ad sales teams. They buy football rights. They are serious. They are, they have this alignment throughout their company. And then we have other companies where you ask them, well, if I would ask your CEO about your video strategy, what would he say? I actually asked this 2 weeks ago to a customer. Said, well, he would say we don't have one. It's difficult to grow, obviously, if you don't have a clear strategy aligned from the CEO. So that's the first thing you need to do. But then, first things first, you need content, right? And this is not really our expertise, but clearly, if you're a broadcaster, your content strategy is quite simple. You take your broadcast content, you put it on your IP-delivered platforms, websites, apps, wherever it might be. Easy, and you have a very unfair advantage, right? Because someone else is paying for the content, and you have this amazing content and service. If you're, you can obviously have a UGC strategy. You can have a, there's many ways to produce content very cost-effective today. There's different ways you can do this. You can have live streaming, etc. Then it comes to your distribution strategy, and this is about 2 things. When it comes to actually distributing your content out to the consumers, you want to be extremely promiscuous. You pretty much want to be exactly everywhere where your consumers are, where your audience is, right? So if I buy a new Windows phone, I will expect to have your content. YouTube doing a great job at that. Wherever you go, whatever device you buy, there's always a YouTube app available, right? Very promiscuous about that. On the other hand, when it comes to advertising, you need to do the exact opposite. There's only one place where advertisers can buy your audience, and that is from you. So and that's basically the way you make sure you get paid. That's the way you make sure your audience and your brand is valued. So they can't go and buy it from all these different ad networks, and not everybody's running around with, hey, Britain's Got Talent, do you want to buy the advertising around that? No. You gotta go to ITV and you better pay up, because that's the only way to get access to it. And you can see a great example of that is Vivo, actually. So the Vivo music videos, right, they're everywhere. They have also numerous apps, they're on YouTube, but it's actually only them selling it. Maybe a bit of YouTube also selling that. but you have to really limit the access when it comes to advertising. Then you need a device strategy. This is something we get a question about all the time. What should I do? Where should I be? And here, I'll tell you a bit about Carbon and what we've done with the platform there. I think you need to do things on that side that will affect your device strategy. But basically, this is about you need to be extremely committed to every device when it comes to the user experience. So if you're building an iPhone app, you need to make sure the iPhone app does not look like your website, right? Because you don't have a mouse, it's a smaller screen, it's probably touch screen, etc., etc. Hence, you need to be extremely committed to that experience and have probably even a special team for that, etc., etc. But when it comes to your advertising strategy, again, you need to do the opposite, which is you need to make sure that you're screen agnostic. So regardless of device, you sell your advertising, you sell your audience as one. You make sure that when you go and meet Procter & Gamble, or when you meet, let's say, Coca-Cola, you tell them, hey, we have all these great apps that our audience love. However, for you can just buy all of them here in one package. It's simple, right? All these users are packaged and priced in one audience. The mistake that many people do, and I mean this can and cannot be the right thing to do, but it's to split up every single device. Yeah, well, I have 10,000 people watching my content on Samsung connected TVs. Nobody's going to bother to even think about that, neither to put an order form in, make sure they get the assets right, and et cetera, et cetera. Advertising is a business of scale, and you need to make sure that you gather up all your entire audience on all your devices into one audience and package and price that so the advertisers can easily buy into that offering. And then finally, clearly you need a technology strategy. And obviously this conference is very much about this, but if you think about the complexities compared to, if you think about a broadcasting business, right, you pretty much have a play out. You send the stream out, it goes to your terrestrial, to your cable and satellite, and you're done. This thing, IP delivered video is extremely complex. You have all these different devices, all these different technologies. You have even new, you have new devices popping up almost every week. And every now and then we have a new device category, like the tablet, that didn't even exist. Hence you need to figure out, what is this thing? How are people gonna use it, and how are we gonna monetize it, right? So it's extremely complex for any video publisher today to stay on top of all the technological change that's happening. And the way to stay competitive is obviously to be on top of this. Hence, the only way to make this sustainable is to work with third parties. It's basically to split the cost between the different publishers and broadcasters into third parties, and that way make it viable. So Video Plaza is obviously one example. We have 75 plus customers. They're all funding our engineering, our product, our expertise, and hence they can all enjoy a product that they could never ever had afforded to build themselves, right? So, and I'm sure a lot of you here, a lot of people out there are in the same business. That it makes so much sense to do that. So this is, clearly there's a number of other things you need to figure out. But if you want to be, if you want to be serious about your IP delivered video business, if you want to have a significant piece of the $200 billion ad market, this is some of the things you really need to figure out and execute on. So the report you can get for free from the website, as I said, not much more about that. I wanted to give you a quick introduction to Carbon also. I know there's slight kind of technical focus of this conference, so I wanted just to walk you through, obviously based on the findings from the, it's actually obviously not based on that, but it's based on the same philosophy that we have built our platform, which is called Carbon. We launched this in February this year, and I'll walk you through kind of the different components of it. So how many of you, by the way, are familiar with ad serving technologies? 3, 4. Okay, so not many. So I'll take it on an ABC level. So basically, just before we even look at this, our customers use our platform to manage all their advertising inventory and campaigns, right? So it's probably a better slide for that. But basically, when they go out and sell advertising campaigns to different advertisers, be it again Coca-Cola or Nokia or a P&G or whoever, they use our platform to first forecast how much ads do I actually have available to sell. And then once sold, they come and book it in the platform. They set all the targeting parameters. You know, where should this campaign be run, which geography, which time of day. Maybe you will do frequency capping, so you would say only twice. I want the same user maximum to see my ad twice per day, right? I don't want to pay for you to see my ad 20 times in a day, right? Doesn't have any value for me. So, and then the platform will obviously deliver all the ads, make sure all campaigns deliver according to their targets, and then obviously you will pull out, you know, you can do quite complex reporting. How did all these campaigns perform? What was the click-through rate? What was the engagement rate, the view-through rate, et cetera, et cetera. So, coming from looking at this technically, you know, Carbon is very similar to other ad management platforms in its core. Other ad management platforms would be platforms that are built for display advertising, banners. And that's what a lot of people use to manage their video advertising as well. So Carbon has campaign management, right? That's where you do your forecasting, where you do your targeting, where you do the reporting. It's the actual platform where you do all this. There's a lot of data from all the users, the cookies, who's seen what ad, who did what with what ad, etc. And then you've got a decision engine, which makes decisions based on a user coming in, goes into the decision engine that then looks at all the available campaigns, all the available data, and makes a decision on which ad to deliver to which person. So this is the core of Carbon, similar to other platforms. The way it's different is that it has 3 other dimensions built into its core, which is time, content, and device awareness. And I'll walk you through one by one. So one thing that's very important with video, what makes video different, is that video is consumed over time. So here's an example of a 30-minute video where you have numerous ads, I think 15 ads, before, during, after, and around the video. So the platform needs to understand in its core, you know, the concept of how all these ads are related, the fact that these ads in the beginning belong to the same commercial break, the sequence of those ads, the duration of those ads, actually having all of that native so you can forecast on, let's say, the first ad in the break. So our clients might be selling the first ad more expensive than the other ads because they know the first ad you actually just clicked play, right? You're not going to the bathroom or checking your Facebook. That then is available natively throughout the whole platform. Second thing is content awareness. So talked about syndication, right? So this is about understanding whose content this was and where it was monetized. So an example could be the content was from Disney and it was consumed on Dailymotion. And clearly you have business, you know, contracts to honor, right? You have done a content deal with Disney, you've done a deal with Dailymotion. So in the end, you have to make sure that everybody gets paid and that you know where that revenue was generated so you can honor those contracts. So that's very important. Another thing is just generally understanding content, because video content is very different from how a website is structured. And when ad load is actually one of the ways that significantly can change your revenue. So if you think about, obviously, short form content, you know, can have obviously a lot less ads than long form content. So you want to be able to control that. You want to be able to control your very unique American Hollywood TV series that you've paid a lot for and that you know has a very loyal audience. You know you can squeeze in more ads than, let's say, a Big Brother, you know, long form video, where people kind of tune in to see maybe what's happening. So you want to always find the right balance between you know, the ad load and the content, and that's unique for every publisher. But usually we tend to find that you can actually squeeze in more ads without the users leaving. Clearly depends on the audience and on the content. So finally is having devices native in the platform. Again, you can forecast on different devices, you can target on them, you can report on them, and we have all this native in the platform. I'll come back to what that actually means. Another piece of the platform is the device and player functionality. So this is actually the SDKs we have that facilitates for you to integrate into your iPhone app or onto your Samsung TV or whatever it might be. And this is also very important. When we built Carbon, we took back a lot of the functionality from the front end, from here where we had it historically, and brought it back to the back end, because you can't really trust these devices. I mean, there's so many different standards, and there's so much constraints, right? Where, for example, a lot of these devices you can't do cookies. Cookies is everything in the advertising world. Without cookies, it's very limiting. Hence, we have a lot of our usually kind of cookie-based functionality in the back end. So unique users we do on unique device ID and similar things. So this is also very important. And then finally, asset management, which is absolutely key. And I think you will understand this in the following 3 slides. So I think this is an exercise we did before building Carbon. We said, so assuming PC will be only one of many devices, because our platform, like any other platform, was built for the PC, and we were doing this like, oh, how do we make this work on the phone? How do we make this phone work on this and that device? We said, okay, let's figure out, now that we figured out that this will not scale eventually, how should we rebuild this? And there's really 3 criteria we came up with, and I think this can be applied to many businesses. Whatever you do, you want to make sure you're compliant with any current or any future device. It's pretty obvious, because you can never know how many devices there will be. And the day you start saying, well, you know, I'll start picking the most popular platforms, etc., it's not really not gonna work. You want to make sure that your customers have one workflow. So regardless if you're booking a campaign for 1 platform or 10 platforms, it should really be one workflow. Devices should be hidden under the hood. And this we talked about in the strategies part, but you want to make sure you can sell one audience. You don't want to slice up your audience into all your different devices and properties. So this is really what we wanted to achieve with the platform, and the first thing we had to do was to build this device library. We're actually, first of all, defining what is a device, by the way. And we had a lot of debates around what that actually means. And we ended up defining a device as a combination of hardware and software, which means there's actually a lot of different hardware, there's a lot of different software, which gave us more than 7,000 devices that we then profiled in terms of what is the video and audio codec that they prefer, what is the bitrate resolution they prefer, and kind of having that available so we could achieve the one workflow. So everywhere in the platform now, you have your different device groups. So you would group this is one example, PC, mobile, iPad might be one way of grouping numerous devices. And this might include, in reality, actually 500 different devices. But once you've defined those, it's very simple. You have them available, And when you're doing forecasting or targeting or reporting everywhere, you can have devices as a native dimension. And where it gets really kind of, where it almost turns to magic is in the actual delivery part where the customer doesn't have to care. But this is what happens under the hood. You upload one high resolution file which goes into the asset factory that then will build all the assets that your account would need. And regardless then of or depending then on which device that will come to your property, to your site, to your app, there will be the device will first be identified by the device library. And then based on that, we will take the asset that is required. And if we don't have an asset that's compliant, there will not be any ad, but it won't crash your app, it won't crash your TV or game console or anything else. So all of this happens under the hood, and when you're a customer, you only think about this bit, right? You just upload one file and you're good to go.
What are the types of creative assets that you guys create?
So it would be anything from like you just upload an old FLV file that the advertiser sent you. You can do that, or ideally you would upload obviously a high resolution file, whatever that might be, H.264 or whatever codec. So that's also the whole encoding is. I think we use encoder for that. So then they would kind of spit out whatever then has been defined for that account to be available. And that, yeah. So what this really means on a higher level is that the only cost of adding a new device is the integration. So let's assume you have all this set up, right? And Nokia comes knocking on your door saying, please, can you build an app for a Windows Phone? We're going to go big next year, blah, blah, blah. You integrate it, right? You look at the SDKs, whatever that might be, you make it work, and then you just put it in the mobile group. And then you're good to go. You don't have to care about any of this. You don't have to think about the QAing. You don't have to worry about anything else. And it's the same with selling one audience, right? It will just end up in the mobile audience, and you can just sell it as part of your whole. So this is the mistake many publishers do, is that then they would take that in and then they would go to advertisers and say, hey, we might have some users watching stuff on the Nokia phones. Do you want to buy that? Clearly, it's not very, very appealing for them. Again, because it's a business of scale. So hence, yeah. So this is basically Carbon is the first platform in the world where where the platform will dynamically allocate inventory to the different devices. So you can actually go into the platform and book 5 million pre-rolls on the sports content this time of day, and it will dynamically allocate. You will tell your clients that, hey, probably 10% of your traffic will be on mobile. I don't know, and here's probably how your delivery will look, but we'll see. And then it will dynamically deliver. With other platforms, you have to actually go and pre-allocate and say yes. So of the 5 million, 1 million should go here, 500,000 here, etc., which is something you have to go in and change basically every day because you don't know the expected audience on every device. So that was, I think that was it for me. I think I have, the final slide. So I thought we'd do some Q&A. I don't know where we are on time. We've got 10 minutes. Can go earlier out to the coffee. Any questions? Anyone is inspired now to get more aggressive on those $200 billion? Yeah, question is if we do other formats than video. We would do, we work with InSkin, for example. InSkin Media, they would do skins around the player. We would do companion ads. But mainly it's about helping publishers to monetize their video content. whatever way. We do also overlays. There's a lot of ad formats out there. Yeah. I mean, I think, so the question is, in the broader ecosystem of, you know, the production company, the broadcaster, the operator, or maybe even a second screen application, who's actually making the advertising revenue? And I would say it's almost always the broadcaster, because they are the ones who has this expertise. This is really their business. So it obviously always comes down to the contract you would make, but few production companies have ad sales knowledge or expertise, or even have that business. They would usually, they might sell the sponsor of the show, or they might sell product placement or things like that, to kind of pre-fund the content production slightly. Usually it's the broadcast, and this is also something I think a lot of people who are not in the industry slightly naively think. I mean, I've met numerous operators who think, oh, now we're going to make money, now we're going to sell all the ads. But clearly no broadcaster, definitely not ITV, would give, you know, let's say Sky, their you know, and say, hey, Sky, now you sell the ads around Britain's Got Talent. That's like, that would not happen. That answer your question?
No, it's just
yeah.
More questions. So, if you try and tell Sky what to put on their platform, you'll only get one answer. You get Sky will put whatever on their platform. Virgin Media with the same thing. So you see what I'm saying?
But even, I mean, so for example, if you look at Virgin, you know, their catch-up services, which is the VOD stuff, it is Channel 4 is selling and delivering it themselves. It's the same with YouTube. Like Channel 4 are selling and delivering their own ads on YouTube. They're not allowing, there might be a slight kind of deal there, but they would not allow the YouTube team to go out and sell their brands and say, look, you can buy this content, or yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Any comments? Maybe if someone has an opinion, questions. Cool. I'll be hanging around here if you want to have a chat. Thank you very much.